Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. Boys and girls, this is Mr. Tate and you're in my man cave. Today, we're going to do some math, but since it's my first pandemic, we're going to have to wing it. Okay, so you guys are all on page 374 and you've already completed this assignment. So this is a piece of cake. Let's go over this. JB, quit eating. Kathy G, sit up straight. All right, you guys ready? Okay, we've done this before where we've squared numbers. So you know that you're multiplying 2.7 times 2.7. Hey, who's got the wrong color on here? I am shocked and saddened. Okay, so we're multiplying 2.7 times 2.7, which is just 27 times 27. And then you come back how many places from the right? 2, boom, 7.29. Raise your hand if you got that right. I know some of you guys raised your hand. I knew I'd get you. All right, so what's 5 squared? Well, 5 times 5. What's 16 squared? Well, if you did it, you'd know that it's 256, right? Negative 11 times negative 11 is positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive, 121. 2 over 7 times 2 over 7. It's going to look like that, isn't it? 2 over 7 times 2 over 7. Top times top is 4. Bottom times bottom is 49. All right. Let you check those. Okay, let's go down to the next part where it says the order of operations. All right, let's see what we got here. That looks difficult, doesn't it? Not too bad. First, they want you to operate within the parentheses. Okay, inside here and inside here. We can do that, not a problem. What's 5 minus 2? 3, so it's 3 squared. What's 8 minus 4? 4, so it's 4 squared. You've got 3 squared plus 4 squared. Let's square them. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 9 plus 16, 25. Square root of it's 5. Remember how we have a positive and a negative, but they're not asking for it, so we're just going to give them the positive one. What's that called again? Good. The principal square root is the positive one. So look what we did. We operated within the parentheses first. We simplified the exponents. Then add and subtract, going left to right. Then we took the square root. Good job. All right, let's take a look at the answers, then we're going to go over these. See how you did. 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, let's go over 5 through 8. Now, I painstakingly spent a lot of time on this. I had them handwritten, and I went, no. We need to type these in. Okay, so the first step is work within the parentheses. 6 plus 2, 8. 3 plus 3, 6. When you square them, 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64, and 6 times 6, 36. The next step was to add them together, and you get 100. Square root of 100, 10. All right, good job. Everybody get that? Just follow the steps. Okay, let's go to number 6. Uh-oh, he's got some stinking chart over here. That's about to get scary. All right, watch this. We're going to go 9 minus 4, which is 5, squared. 5 plus 7 is 12, squared. What's 5 squared? 25. What's 12 squared? It's in your times tables. You should know that one, 144. So you got 25 plus 144, 169. The problem is, I got to find, hopefully that's a perfect square. I'm going to get a whole number for a square root. Otherwise, it's about to get ugly in here. So I kind of want to know what's on either side. If I start squaring 1 times 1 is 1, too small. 2 times 2 is 4, too small. 3 times, it's too much work. I want to get an area where I can get a range. What's going to be on the left? What's going to be on the right? Well, I made up this table. Don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. Look away, don't look. All right, here we go. So if you took 10 and you squared it, you'd get 100. If you took the square root of 100, you'd get 10. So it's not a great chart, but it works for me. And then, so I took a range. I went 10 squared, 15 squared, 20 squared, 25 squared, 30, 35, and 40. The easy part is 10 squared is 100. I can remember that. 20 squared is 400. 30 squared is 900. 40 squared is 1600. That works. The problem is, this is where my problem lies right here. 15 squared is 225. I've memorized that. 25 squared, if you had 25 quarters, that's $6.25. And 35 is the one I always forget until I start using it again. Then I go, oh yeah, it's $12.25. So I want to find a range. Where does 169 fit? Well, doesn't it fit in between these two? So I said, well, it's going to be in between 10 and 15 squared. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So I wrote these numbers down, and I said, well, 10 squared is 100, 15 squared is 225, and that number of 169 fits in between them, doesn't it? Okay, let's see what happens here. So I'm going to take, in between 10 and 15, I've got 11, 12, 13, and 14. If it's a perfect square, it's going to be one of those four. Well, I know that 11 squared is 121. I know that 12 squared is 144. Some of you guys might have known that right off the bat. 13 squared is our answer, 169. And 14 squared is 256. We don't need that one. Once you get to here, there's your answer. Right? So there's also a shortcut, and I don't know if it works every time, but I think it does. See how you're saying 1 times 1 here? 1 times 1 is 1. You're saying 2 times 2, it ends in 4. There's the 4. 3 times 3, it ends in 9. And 4 times 4, it ends in 6, 16. So that's one of the shortcuts that people can use also. I think it works. Whenever I've used it, it seems like it works for me. So now we know that the square root of 169 is 13. Some people remember that what's close to 169? Well, 12 squared, that's 144. And then you'd probably go, let me try 13 because it's right next door, and you'd be there. There's your answer. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. All right, let's see if there's an easier one here. Let's find out. So on number 7, we've got 10 minus 6. That's going to be 4 squared. And 15 minus 12, that's going to be 3 squared. 4 squared is 16. 3 squared is 9. Ooh, this looks like a good one. 16 plus 9 is 25. Is that a perfect square? Yes, it is. The square root of 25 is 5. Does that make some sense? It does to me. Everybody got that? All right. Let's go to number 8. Uh-oh, I see that chart again. It's about to get ugly. Okay, 6 plus 9, that's 15. 15 squared plus 10 minus 2 is 8. That's going to be 8 squared. 15 squared, remember 15 was 225? And 8 squared is 64. Hope I'm not going too fast, but it's my first shot at videoing myself, so we'll see how this goes. You can always rewind the video though and watch it that way too. You can freeze it and whatnot. Okay, so 225 plus 64, that's going to be what, 289? Okay, so I'm going to come over to my table again, and I know, well, let's see if I can do it without the table. I'm not sure. I know that 20 squared is 400. And I know that 15 squared is 225. So it's going to be in between 15 and 20. So if I look at my table, yep, it's right there. Okay, so I know that it's going to be between 15 and 20. So if you look down here, it's going to be 16, 17, 18, or 19. See how the number ends in 9? 6 times 6 ends in 6. 7 times 7 ends in 9. Ooh, that could be the answer right there. Because if I were to square 17, 7 times 7 is 49, and it's going to end in 9. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. I think it's going to be 17. And it is 17. So, we found our answer. If you didn't know that shortcut, just start squaring some stuff. You know the range that it sits in between. It sits in between 15 and 20. So we're going to start squaring 16, 17, 18, and 19. If you started at 16, you'd be done when you get to 17. There's your answer. All right. More fun than a punch in the stomach. Okay, let's try, let's go back up here and take a look what they say about 9 through 14. Look at the example here. Holy mother of God. This is not that much fun, but let's make it fun. Okay, what's 25 squared? That's 625. But it's not 25, it's 2.5, so I come back 2 places, and that's going to be 6.25. Okay, so that part's gone. I could do half of 4. What's half of 4? 2. One half times 4 would be this. 1 over 2 times 4 over 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's where we got this number right here. So then I just double it. It's going to be what? 12.50? Yep, there's your answer. Let's try some of these. We got nowhere to go. Okay, first one's not too bad. I'm going to go 5 times 8 is 40. Bring down the 10. 40 times 10. Remember when you multiply by 10, you add a 0 or you move it once to the right? So you move it over. Boom, 400. Number 10. Here I did basically half of 6 is 3. Or you could say 1 over 2 times 6 over 1, I think. Yep, it's right here. 1 half times 6 over 1. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 6 over 2 is 3. Half of 6 is 3. Okay, not too bad. So half of 6 is 3. 3 times 12 is 36. Let's try number 11. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're saying a third of 3. A third of 3 is 1. 1 times 12 is 12. There's your answer. But if you forgot that, you could say, all right, let's do 1/3 times 3. Put a 1 under it. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. That's 1/3 of 3 is 1. 1 times 12 is 12. Raise your hand if you got that right. Ah, I got you again. I knew it. All right, number 12. Okay, now you're going to do half of 8 squared, all this stuff. You can do it like that. Half of this would be 64, wouldn't it? 8 squared is 64. I forget how I wrote this up. Let's see. I could do half of 4 or half of... Yep, I moved the 4. I moved the 4 next to the 1/2. And I put the 8 squared over there. I just moved them. Commutative property of multiplication. Oh, he's using big words again. Stop that. All right, you ready? Okay, so half of 4, that's going to be 2. Let's go over here. Half of 4, I stuck a 1 under it. Half of 4, 1/2 of means times, put a 1 under it. And there you go. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 over 2 is 2. Half of 4 is 2. Okay, so we did this part here. Let's cross it out again. Half of 4 is 2. What's 8 squared? Well, 8 squared is 8 times 8, 64. 2 times 64 means double it. 128. Bam! That's as simple as popping a pimple. Let's go to number 13. Oh yeah, look at this one. Okay, do I want to do a fourth of 15? Probably not. I'd end up with like 3.75, something like that. That's not good. So I might want to do the squared part first and then take a fourth of it. Let's see, what's 10 squared? 100? Okay, and I'll cross this part out. See, 1/4 times 10 squared, which is 100. What's a fourth of 100? That's 25. You can come over here and do it like that. In the words of Jed Clampett, it don't make me no never mind. 1/4 of means times, put a 1 under it. 1 times 100, 4 times 1, 100 divided by 4. Ching, bada bing. We're in business. Okay, so now I did a fourth of 100, which is 25. That part's gone. And I do 25 times 15. You just got to do the math. 25 times 15. 5 quarters is $1.25. There's your placeholder. 1 times 25. 5, 7, 3, 375. All right. One more, I think, and then we're done. Okay, I'm going to take, I could do a third of 6, which is 2. I could do this, do these two first. When you multiply, you can do them in any order. 2 times 3 times 4, you can do 2 times 3. Let's write these down. You could do 2 times 3 times 4. You could do 4 times 3 times 2. You could do 2 times 4 times 3. You can do all different ways. It doesn't matter. When you're multiplying, as long as they're all multiplied, it doesn't matter. I can do a third of 6 is 2, and then do times 9 squared. Let's see what I did. I'm not even sure. I did it last night. Okay, so I moved the 6 next to the 1/3. A third of 6, 1/3 of 6, 1/3 times 6, 1 times 6, 3 times 1, 6 over 3 is 2. That works for me. Let's go over here. So I did a third of 6, which is 2, and 9 squared is 81. Nice little dot here. It looks like a lump of coal, which is what I got for Christmas last year. All right, let's see. Yep, the third of 6 is 2. 2 times 9 squared, which is 81. Double it, 162. All right, we're done. Those 2 green lines mean that's it. Abadi, 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 abadi. That's all, folks. So we got this done. I didn't put a grading scale up here, but you graded your own, so we'll see what happens. What we're doing here is changing and changing and changing every day because we've never done it before, so I'm learning Google Classroom as we go. My wife's been helping me. She's awesome. So let's do this. We're going to complete... I'm thinking as I'm speaking. Let's see. The next page was 3... We'll do that. We'll go over that tomorrow. You guys, hopefully you have some of this stuff done. And so we're going to go over it together because I know all the stuff we do is difficult, so I don't expect you guys to know all this stuff. So get these pages done. I'll try to make another video for tomorrow, and we'll have page 375, which is the reading page, reading startup, and then we'll probably go to page 377 and just start this stuff. I was going to show you a Dr. Cheeseburger video. I've captured part of the video, so I was going to show you on here what he did in the video. We had page 378. There's the video discussing the Pythagorean theorem, and we'll go from there. I already sent you guys the assignment, so you know what it is. So let's go from that. I'll send you out another video tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right then. Thanks for playing. We'll see you tomorrow.